I'll be using a magnifying glass on my exam, because you technically allowed it. I had an exam in some math-heavy subject, honestly can't remember, might have been physics, might have been chemistry, where we weren't allowed to use calculators in college. I'm the kind of dyslexic idiot who can do algebra or calculus but will screw up multiplying two numbers together. I brought in a slide rule so I could sanity check my calculations. Mind you, this was in the very late 90s/early 00s, so I certainly got some weird looks. But they didn't do anything about it? Magnificent. You threw in that loop. Your classmates didn't see it coming. What's a non-physical quality that can make someone instantly unattractive, no matter how good they look? When they only talk about themselves and don't initiate a two-way conversation. If your only way of making conversations is by talking about other people. Why was 18 chosen as the age to become an adult? It wasn't. 21 was the original age that a squire was eligible to become a knight. You would start first at age 7 as a page, become a squire at 14, and be sworn in as a knight at 21. 21 was seen as the threshold to adulthood up until WWI, when due to the horrendous number of deaths on the front line, draft ages were reduced from 21 to 18 to shore up numbers and try and maintain fighting forces. 18-year-olds make good soldiers. In World War II we lowered the draft age from 21 to 18. By that time, 18 was the general age where people graduated high school, so it would be difficult to go below that without being accused of drafting kids. If high school ended at 17, that would probably be the draft age as well. That draft age largely led to 18 being the age used for the voting age in the 26th Amendment. What physical touch do men like? I would be willing to bet that the overwhelming majority of single men in this thread are so touch-starved that any type of physical touch is better than nothing. I was at a haunted house once and a girl I didn't even know grabbed onto my right arm and wouldn't let go the entire way through. I almost asked her to marry me afterward. Having a woman lay on me on the couch while wearing clothes. Something about the weight pressure and her soft body. Honestly, hugs are fucking legit. They don't even have to be sexual at all. For whatever reason at my job I get hugs all the time. Absolutely love them. From girls and boys. Homies love hugs. I've manipulated my husband by strategically sleeping with him for more than 20 years. Noticing a behavior pattern and finding a positive way around it or to modify it like this really doesn't strike me as manipulation. I'm pretty certain your husband would feel the same way. Being in a relationship is supposed to be mutually beneficial and I feel like you nailed it, no pun intended. As long as everyone gets what they want, I see no issue. Who's training who here? It's almost like dopamine makes you want to do things. Eli 5, why do Texans have to wrap their pipes and drip their faucets when it freezes? Why don't they just do whatever it is that people in Minnesota do in order to avoid pipes bursting when it freezes? I'm sure that they do what we do here in Sweden, which is to bury pipes deep, insulate them, keep crawl spaces and such insulated and heated, sometimes even wrap electrical heating tape around them, and pipes still break every winter. Pipes in Minnesota will burst if they're not protected either. But there the pipes are put below the frost line, which is several feet down. Texas doesn't have a frost line, or it's much shallower, and it freezes so rarely here that putting pipes deeper isn't worth the extra added expense, especially since the soil is only a few inches deep in many places. You'd have to dig through rock to put in the pipes deeper. To food by going to a food pantry for the first time and unknowingly becoming a volunteer. I thought I was shopping for myself. It ended in an international crisis, food bank security, when I was caught loading the groceries in the trunk of my car. Having worked at a food bank, this is the funniest thing I've read in a while. Seems to have worked out on both sides though, you're getting food, and they're getting help. Wonderful. The only foo is how the woman reacted. Minor mistake and confusion and she can't see the humor in it. I'm confused. You said she told me what to do and then took your car to your car. Did she not tell you to leave it? EU countries are starting to float the idea of sending troops to Greenland for defensive purpose. Us military members, what would you do if your president ordered the invasion of Denmark? ITT, answers by literally anyone but US military members. You're not going to get the responses you're asking for. Current military members are forbidden to post their commentary on issues like this. I work as a contractor at a military base that trains helicopter pilots. The most I could contribute is to quit my job. I would be replaced immediately, but I would feel better about myself. Ask me for 4 eggs, I give you 4 eggs, using the policy I explained to you 5 times while you were ordering. It confuses me as well. Why would a restaurant do it? Just cut the price by half and don't confuse people anymore. Then you can say that your eggs are good and really cheap or something. Is there a reason why the restaurant is trying to cause confusion by doubling the eggs? I understand that he wasn't listening to you, but why does the restaurant do that? Why not have 1 egg equals 1 egg? What if you only want 1 egg? Will you always get at least 2? You want a large pizza with everything. Okay, you got it? Ask and ye shall receive. So gross. Face with tears of joy. Almond on a Hawaiian pizza. Interesting. You work 8 hours a day and that's it. It is truly amazing how some things are just held up by spit and glue though. Like, not one other person knew how to do anything. I know that drive home was epic. Eli 5, why is it so difficult to prove or disprove that a smartphone spies on what its owner is saying? As a software developer, the short answer is the code is proprietary and not accessible to the general public. So we can't simply look at it and determine what it does. When code is released to the public, it becomes very hard to take the compiled version and understand what it does, especially when the creators do everything they can to stop exactly that. It is technically possible and it's called reverse engineering, but there is a lot of guesswork and it's extremely time consuming. I can look at all the traffic leaving my phone over my Wi-Fi network. While that doesn't necessarily tell me what the contents of the traffic is, I can see what sites it is sending data to. Haven't found anything spying that I didn't already know was spying, especially TVs, yet. What jobs are most likely to have colleagues that sleep together? Cruise ships, they are living together for months at a time and it's against policy to sleep with the guests, so it's each other or nobody. Dude here looking for his next job. Jobs where people work odd hours and don't have time for a social life. Summer camp. Young PPL, communal living, long hours, and intense bonds. Why are people saying, hurry up and renew/get a passport in preparation for the next 4 years? Well, if nothing else, it sounds like the folks issuing these passports are all being pushed to quit. Might be harder later on. You should always have your passport because it is the only reliable international identification. You never know what will happen in the future. You are one stupid presidential decision away from being a refugee. Like and subscribe.